Growing up, I believed wholeheartedly in the magic of Santa Claus. My parents went to extraordinary lengths to maintain this illusion, leaving behind intricate evidence of Santa's visit every Christmas. The excitement that permeated our house on Christmas Eve was almost tangible, a potent mixture of sugar-fueled anticipation and the promise of impending miracles. I would lie awake in bed, straining my ears for any sound that might indicate the arrival of the jolly old elf, my heart racing with the possibility that I might catch a glimpse of him. Without fail, each year I'd wake up to discover presents under the tree that weren't there the night before. The cookies we'd left out would be partially eaten, and the carrots for the reindeer would be gnawed down to stubs. There were always boot prints in the fireplace ash, and sometimes even a handwritten note in elegant, swirling script, expressing gratitude for the treats. It was pure magic, and I reveled in every moment of it. One particularly memorable Christmas, when I was about 7, I received a beautiful dollhouse. It was the embodiment of everything I had dreamed of, complete with tiny furniture and little plastic people to inhabit its rooms. I marveled at Santa's omniscience, wondering how he had known exactly what I wanted, and how he had managed to fit such a large gift into his sleigh along with presents for all the other children in the world. That year, the magic felt more real than ever, and my belief in Santa was cemented even further. As I grew older, I began to notice some of my friends at school expressing doubts about Santa's existence. They would roll their eyes or snicker behind their hands whenever the topic came up. But I held firm to my belief, secure in the tangible evidence of Santa's existence that appeared in my living room every Christmas morning. I felt a mixture of pity and superiority towards these doubting children, imagining how sad it must be to lose that sense of wonder and magic. My parents were always ready with explanations for any inconsistencies I might notice, spinning elaborate tales about time zones and magic reindeer dust that could slow down time to explain how Santa could visit so many houses in one night. They had gentle explanations for why some kids received more presents than others, weaving a narrative of Santa working closely with parents to ensure every child got what they needed most. Everything changed the year I turned 11. It was a few days before Christmas, and I was helping my mom bake cookies, the special ones we always left out for Santa. The house was filled with the comforting aroma of cinnamon and vanilla, and Christmas carols played softly in the background. It was a perfect, cozy scene, the kind that I would look back on years later with a bittersweet ache of nostalgia. The illusion shattered with a single phone call. As my mom spoke to my aunt, coordinating our family Christmas dinner, I overheard words that made my blood run cold. My mom's laughter, bright and clear, was followed by a casual admission that she had to keep up the lie about Santa for at least one more year, expressing disbelief that I still believed. In that moment, my world tilted on its axis. The cookie dough I was holding fell from my suddenly numb fingers, hitting the floor with a soft thud. My mind raced, trying to make sense of what I'd just heard. The realization hit me with a sickening lurch in my stomach. Santa wasn't real. My mom's reaction to my overhearing confirmed my worst fears. Her carefully composed expression, the flash of guilt and sadness in her eyes, and her hesitant explanation that Santa was just a fun story, felt like a betrayal of the highest order. The magic I had cherished for so long suddenly felt like a cruel joke. I felt foolish, deceived, and overwhelmingly sad. How could something I had believed in so completely, something that had brought me so much joy, turn out to be a lie? The next few days passed in a fog as I wrestled with this new truth. The world seemed different now, less vibrant somehow. I looked at my parents with new eyes, wondering what other lies they might have told me. Was the tooth fairy fake too? The Easter bunny? I felt like I couldn't trust anything anymore. That Christmas was a subdued affair. I went through the motions, opening presents and smiling at relatives, but the joy was gone. I caught my parents watching me with worried expressions, but I couldn't bring myself to reassure them. I was mourning something I couldn't quite name, my innocence, perhaps, or my unquestioning faith in the goodness of the world. As time passed, I started to notice things I hadn't before. I saw the stress on my parents' faces as they tried to make everything perfect for the holidays. I realized how much work went into creating the illusion of Santa, the late nights wrapping presents, the careful planning to make sure no detail was overlooked. In a way, it was its own kind of magic, born of love and a desire to bring joy to others. Gradually, I began to understand that the world is full of myths and stories. Some are meant to teach us lessons, others to provide comfort or inspiration. The Santa myth, I realized, wasn't meant to deceive me, but to give me a sense of wonder and possibility. Still, that lie stung the most. It was the first time I truly understood that adults could and would lie to me, even with the best intentions. It shattered my innocence in a way that nothing else had, leaving me questioning what else I might have been misled about. The truth hurt, but it also made me grow up. I started to look at the world more critically, to question things instead of accepting them at face value. In time, I came to appreciate the complexity of adult decisions, the sometimes blurry line between truth and kindness. Years later, I found myself faced with a dilemma of my own. My little sister, 7 years younger than me, was still firmly in the grip of Santa belief. Our parents had asked me to help maintain the illusion for her, to be part of the magic making. At first, I hesitated, remembering how deeply the revelation had hurt me. But as I observed my sister's unbridled joy and excitement at the mention of Santa, I began to understand. The magic of Santa isn't in his literal existence, but in the hope and wonder he represents. It's in the kindness he inspires, the generosity he encourages. So I played along. I helped leave out the cookies, sprinkled reindeer food in the yard, and shared in her amazement at the presents that appeared as if by magic on Christmas morning. And in doing so, I recaptured some of that lost magic for myself. When the time came for my sister to learn the truth, I was there to support her. I shared my own experience, the hurt and confusion I had felt. But I also shared the understanding I had gained, that sometimes a beautiful lie can lead us to deeper truths about love, generosity, and the importance of wonder in our lives. As an adult, I look back on my belief in Santa with a mixture of nostalgia and appreciation. Yes, it was a lie, but it was also a gift. It taught me about the power of imagination, the joy of giving without expectation of recognition, and the importance of creating magic and wonder for others. The world can be a harsh place, full of disappointments and hard truths. But it's also full of beauty, kindness, and yes, even magic, if we choose to see it. Santa may not be real in the literal sense, but the spirit he represents, generosity, kindness, the ability to believe in something bigger than ourselves, is very real indeed. Now, as I prepare for another Christmas, I find myself contemplating the traditions I want to pass on to my own future children. The question of whether to tell them about Santa remains unresolved. But I am certain that I want to give them the gift of wonder, the ability to see magic in the everyday world around them. Because in the end, that's what the Santa myth gave me. Not just a childhood fantasy, but a lifelong appreciation for the power of belief and the importance of creating joy for others. The day Santa died for me was painful, a loss of innocence that I mourned deeply. But from that loss came growth, understanding, and eventually, a deeper, more nuanced appreciation for the complexities of life and love. It was a necessary step in growing up, in learning to see the world as it is while still holding on to the hope of what it could be. And isn't that, after all, the true magic of Christmas?